Hello, welcome to the Pedestal Society. My name is Braille, and today we're going to talk about the silent signals that aren't ignored. One of the things that I have figured out pretty easily is that I've been able to pinpoint things in women that will be taken advantage of. So let's open this up with going over the things that I've noticed in women that bring about predatory people in their lives. Women who are basically easily taken advantage of, women who overshare and talk too much, women who try to help others but can't help themselves, women who try to be cold and mean, women who think they're smarter than everyone else, a know it all, women who don't ask for help, women who always looking for information instead of embodiment, women who talk about boundaries instead of implementing them, women who are naive, women that are looking for love instead of growing in love. So I want to talk about the silent signals that those type of women put out that tell people that they can be taken advantage of. There are certain things that you can hone in that will give you an advantage if you understand what you're looking for, or if you understand what you need to work on. Hey, Selena. Hey, Miss Right Time. Welcome to the Pedestal Life Society as a member. But let's jump into those three things that I have been able to see that these are the three things that get women in trouble. These are the three things that tell others that they are open to be taken advantage of. These are signals that you're putting out and you're unaware. If you're a woman who have at least been taken advantage of at least one time this year, this video is for you. This is for you to kind of hone in on the things that are going to help you course correct so that you can stop putting out the energy that you are prey, that you're open to predatory behavior, that you're open to be taken advantage of. And that's the first thing on the list is boundaries. Your boundaries need to be so secure, so strict, so embodied that when people come across you, they realize that your boundaries are so tight that there's no way to get in. And I'm going to give you five, well, not five. I lowered it down to four boundaries specifically in these areas that you need to work on. If you have not even considered putting boundaries in place for these things, you need to have physical boundaries, sexual boundaries, time boundaries, and financial boundaries. If you don't have any boundaries, these are the places to start. Our goal here is for you to understand the silent signals that you're putting out, the non-verbal communication, which non-verbal communication makes up to 70 to 95% of communication. So you're saying a lot without saying anything. And so if you feel like you're a woman who are constantly being taken advantage of, you always attract people who have a predatory nature, and that's men and women that want to take advantage of you, then you need to tighten up the boundaries, get really strict on them, understand what they are. First, create your list of boundaries. Create your list of boundaries. Get them here in your mind, then get them in your heart and let them become embodied. You want them to be so embodied that you don't even think about those boundaries. You don't have to sit here and think about, should I have a boundary here? They're just something that you naturally do. So you want to get um, a tight control of your boundaries if you don't have any. Because no boundaries is a silent signal for predatory nature, for predatory people. People see a person with no boundaries, instead of them saying, well, let me see if I can teach or help that person, they look at them and say, let me see if I can take advantage of that person. So you must have boundaries. If you do not have boundaries, create boundaries. Take the time to implement boundaries. Take the time to embody boundaries. You want your boundaries to be so tight, then when people come across you, they're like, I can't take advantage of her because of her boundaries. They're so tight. I can't take advantage of her because there's no way to get in. So create boundaries that become embodiments for you. So they're so natural that you don't have to think about them. The next thing is your energy. Energy is you. That's your mind, your soul, and your spirit. The energy that you're putting out can also indicate that you're open for predatory nature and predatory behavior from others. The energy that you're putting out can say certain things, such as the beliefs that you have, they're not really embodied. These beliefs can be changed at any moment, or these values can be changed at any moment. Because remember, your energy is you. It's everything that makes up you, the action of you, your beliefs, your values, what you stand for, who you are as a woman. Your energy makes up all of that. So if people are coming to you and they're taking advantage of you, and you have more predators coming up to you and they want to take advantage of you, and you have tight boundaries, maybe your energy is off. Maybe your energy is in alignment. Maybe your energy says, well, she has put out this energy that she doesn't stand for anything. So she can be, I can download or program her for anything that I want her to have. So let me give you an example of this. One of the things that always is in my inbox, I always get podcasts or, what is it called? I can't even remember the name, but I always get podcasts or I get offers to represent some type of product in my inbox. But you know what I don't get? I don't get things that don't align with the energy I put out. Since my energy is of my family values, of hypergamy, of being with high quality and with high quality men, I get those type of offers and those type of podcast requests. I don't get jumping over the couch and screaming and yelling and fighting. I would never be a good fit for that because the energy I put out is not that energy. So if you want to know, you're saying, hey, I don't know if it's my energy. Look at what's coming back at you. Is people coming back at you in the type of fashion that you want them to come back at you? Are they coming back as wholesome? Are they coming back as upstanding? Are they coming back as loyal? Are they coming back with integrity? If they're not, check your energy, because maybe there's something that's not in alignment. Because your energy is you. It's the output of you. It's what you truly believe in. It's what you stand on. It's who you are as a woman. And that energy is very potent and very important to being taken advantage of or not. Because when people have a predatory nature, they look for people that they can program. They look for people who are not firm in their values and beliefs. They look for people who they can tell what to think and what to believe. They wouldn't look for someone like myself who's like 40 something years old, and there's a saying, you can't teach a old dog new tricks, because I'm really firm in my beliefs. If you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. And since I have that type of energy coming about, I usually don't have people that's going to come against that type of energy I'm putting out. People usually are coming in to amplify the energy that I'm putting out and want to absolutely use the energy I'm putting out versus actually trying to take advantage of it, because they know it's not going to be used unless I allow it to be used. But check your energy. So boundaries is a silent signal. And that signal is either it is going out showing that you cannot be taken advantage of, or you can. Your energy is either going out showing that you can be taken advantage of, or you can. The last thing is your body language. Sometimes your body language is giving away too much or too little. And let me give you another example of this. When you're on dates and you have your body language is given too little, what will happen is when you're on dates, that person could say, they could be asking you some type of question and you could be standing firm with whatever you believe in. But if they can see like nervous ticks, they can see that your knee is shaking on the table, or you're playing with your hair, or you're playing with your fork, or you're doing something that shows that you're nervous and you're not really present, or that you don't really stand firm in what you believe in, that takes away from you being believed. If you tell me, hey, I believe in family, I believe in hypergamy, I believe in faith, I believe in whatever religion or spirituality you believe in, but then when you're telling me that, your body language is saying something entirely. And so you want to make sure that all these things somewhat align, because these are your silent signals. These are your nonverbal cues. This is the communication that you're giving off before you even open your mouth. That's the reason why it's so important. May not be, like I said, may not be the most popular topic, but if you can kind of tweak these things, it will help put out the energy, and it will help put out that energy that you're not meant to be F with. And that's what you really, truly desire when it comes to dealing with, especially if you're out here dating. If right now you're out here dating, you want your body language, your energy, and your boundaries to speak before you do. You don't want to go in trying to overtalk and overshare. We have an issue in society where they think if you overtalk, overshare, that you're going to be able to implement boundaries, or you're going to be able to keep people who are having predatory nature away from you. And that's not the way it works. Usually predators can smell it on you before you even open your mouth. That is the reason why your boundaries, your energy, your body language has to be in alignment, because they can smell that you're naive. They can smell that you're easily programmed. They can smell that you don't stand for anything. They can smell that they can take advantage of you. And if you are a woman who's dating, you need to have this down pat, even while you're on your journey of inner work. Like I say all the time, inner work is so important, especially in this journey. You may not even be able to create this create these things within yourself until you do the inner work, because then you understand truly where it's deserving or where it's needed. You may not see the need from it when you haven't started your inner work journey, but the things that you're putting out, people are reading that. They're observing you in your natural habitat in real time. And they can pretty much sum you up to see if you're going to be a person they can take advantage of. I know I can really read a woman and I can tell if she needs some help or support and where she's falling down at, and if she's going to be taken advantage of while she's dating. Usually I'll tell you, hey, you're not ready to date, because I can see the holes in the wall. I can see your lack of protection. I can see that your energy isn't right. I can see your body language is off. I can see you don't have any boundaries. And since I can see those things, I wouldn't send you out to the wolves to get eaten. I'm going to sit here and support you while you build yourself up, because you are your first protection. And the only way to become your first protection is understanding the communication that you are giving off without any words. That's your first line of defense. That's the reason why you won't see some men will not take advantage of certain women. They weren't. It won't happen to them. Why? Because the things that you're putting out, men understand there's no way to get in. As a woman, you are your first line of defense. So you have to learn to have strict boundaries. You have to learn how to yield and weld your energy. You have to learn about your body language. These things communicate before you do. These things tell a lot about you before you do. These things tell me if you're programmable. These things tell me if you stand for anything. These things tell me if you value anything. These things actually tell me your belief system. I can tell what you believe and how you handle things and how you handle yourself. So the silent signals that can't be ignored, that won't be ignored, is if you have tight boundaries, your energy is in alignment, and you understand your body language. These things will speak for you before you speak for yourself. These things will keep predatory people from taking advantage of you. Of course, doing the inner work is key, because then you understand if you have to implement more boundaries versus the ones I gave you. I only gave you 4. Of course, there's more boundaries you can implement, but there's 4 that you have to absolutely start today so that you can start repelling predatory people or people who want to take advantage of you versus bringing them in. Hey, Dale 340. But silent signals, the things that you're putting out, they definitely relay a message before you even open your mouth. A lot of women think if I can learn what to say, then I'll have a way up. And I'm going to tell you, having communication is actually the lowest form of vibration. It's the lowest form of healing. It's the lowest communication that you can ever find. The highest form of communication is actually listening and observing versus conversation, because women are great communicators. That's the thing that men absolutely excel in, reading body language and reading those nonverbal cues and communication that we don't think he's reading. He's reading that. Every time I have some of the same questions on my live streams or videos, and they're asking me, how do you teach a man? How do you tell a man this? The best way to tell a man anything is for him to be able to look at you handling that situation versus actually verbally telling him. Women want to verbally tell him because we're great communicators. We know how to talk. We know how to speak up for our feelings and tell people how we feel. But that's not how men read. Men can see through you speaking because your actions can tell another story. The silent signals that you need to become great at. You need to master silent signals. Master the silent signals that you're putting out, the things that you're communicating before you open your mouth. Master them, and you will find that you're going to have less people trying to deal with you in a predatory way versus when you just try to just communicate. If the only thing you know how to do is open your mouth and speak, that is not enough of the communication. It's not the highest form of communication. That's not the best way to get across your message all the time. Sometimes it will be, but majority of the time it isn't, because 70 to 95% of communication is happening without words. Men, women, that have predatory natures, they can sense it, see it, smell it on us. And so that is the reason why it's so important that you implement having strict boundaries, understanding your energy. Energy is the action of self. Everything that you put out is your energy. So if you're going in spaces and you're saying things, but your action is not aligning with it, you're saying a whole lot without saying anything. You're saying that everything that you stand for is very flimsy, because people do this all the time. They run their mouth all the time. But what do they stand for? Who are they? Your body language is speaking for you all the time. If you're not confident in situations and you go in and you have like a nervous tick, or you're bouncing your leg, or you're looking everywhere else but him, all this tells him information. All these things send out information to him, and this helps him read you to figure out exactly where you're coming from, or how he can take advantage, or how he can support. It depends on the type of man, because all men ain't out here to take advantage. Some men are out here to support. So, but you need to be aware of what you're putting out. Are you putting out the body language that you're super self-confident? Not self-confident. Are you putting out the body language that you lack self-confidence? Are you putting out the body language that you don't stand for anything? Are you putting out the body language that you're very nervous? What are you putting out? What is your energy like? Are you putting out that energy that your beliefs are not your own, that your beliefs can be changed at any moment? Are you putting out the energy that your values, you don't have any values in particular, you don't know what they are? What energy are you putting out? Remember, energy is the action of you. It is your mind, body, soul, and spirit. So everything that you're putting out is your energy. What are your boundaries? Do you have any boundaries? Are your boundaries strict, or are your boundaries flimsy? Can anyone jump over your boundaries, change your boundaries, manipulate your boundaries? Or are they strict? Are they firm? So all these things are like silent signals that you put out, and you're saying a lot without saying anything. You're not communicating anything. See, the thing is, we're communicators. I'm a communicator. I understand having a conversation. I understand communication, but I understand letting my energy, my boundaries, my body language speak for me. And sometimes you're going to have to learn when is the time for that to be spoken, and when is it time for you to speak up for yourself. And it's not in every situation. That's what gets women in trouble. The women who are very angry and aggressive, and they want to fight and they want to argue all the time, guess what? They get taken advantage of all the time. They literally attract predatory people because of the energy they're putting out, that they're prey. Some of us, you would think that those type of people wouldn't be prey, but they are. And it's because of the fact that they have put so much out, it's easy to read them. It's easy to figure out where they're failing. It's easy to figure out what's going on with them. It's easier to figure out their triggers. It's easy to figure out what's wrong. And since a predatory person is always trying to read to find out what's wrong, so it's easy to figure out an aggressive, combative woman. She's so simple. She thinks she's not. She thinks she's hard to read. She thinks she's hard for to be understood, and she's not. The things that the signals that she's putting out, the non-verbal communication cues that she's putting out, that there's some underlying issues, some type of belief system, there's value, there's something going on underneath the surface, that all you have to do is figure out what it is, and that's your trigger point. And I just summed her up and read her just that quickly. But women who carry themselves in a confident way, who have boundaries, who have a value system, who have a belief system, who understand their bodies and their body language, they're going to be so much harder to read and so much harder to take advantage of. And they're going to repel predatory behavior because they're not going to know how to get to you. As a woman, every woman that sound of my voice, every woman that's going to listen to this video, you are your first line of protection. You are it. You're it. So it's important that you understand what you're putting out so that you don't bring in more predatory behavior and people taking advantage of you. I remember being young and dumb, where I was super naive. What did I say about women who get taken advantage of? If they're naive, they're going to get taken advantage of. they're going to get used. Because a person who's naive, it's like throwing a person to the wolves. And it's easy to read them and observe in real time what the issues are so that you can you basically hit that trigger button and constantly take advantage of them. A woman who thinks she knows it all. Women who think they know it all, that's ego. That's ego. That's the ego tricking them to believing that they know it all. So a lot of times what will happen is they will miss signs. They will miss the red flags and they will continue moving forward because they think they know it all. That's the reason why you should never operate in this mentality that you're smarter than anybody else. Because regardless of how smart you are, guess what? There's some people out here that do something that you would never even consider doing because your heart is different than theirs. Women who are looking for love in all the wrong places. As we done heard that song before. Women who are looking for love instead of to grow in love, those women also are easy to be taken advantage of because they're looking for love. They're looking for someone to care for them. They're looking for them, instead of them being their first love, they're looking for someone else to be something that they should be to themselves. So it's easy to take advantage of someone who's looking for love, who's looking for care, who's looking for consideration. It's easy to be to take advantage of someone who doesn't see the love that they have within. Women who are just cold and mean, that's just a facade. They're big crybabies. They're big teddy bears on the inside. It's just a facade. It's just an illusion. Majority of women, you think they're mean and cold. Those women, as soon as a man or a woman is able to give them some type of comfort or some type of care, they fold like tissue. They fold like tissue. And it's easy for them to be taken advantage of. Women who try to take care of other people will do something for them, try to take care of other people, and they haven't helped themselves. We already know what the over nurturing that woman does. It doesn't take much to be predatory towards that type of woman, because the reason she's doing it, because of the fact is usually because she wants to be the help to others that she didn't receive herself. So all she has to do is receive a little help, a little care, a little consideration, do the right things, and someone who's very predatory can take advantage of her. The silent signals that you're putting out, if you're a woman who's been taken advantage of in the last year or so, this is your video. This is your reminder. This is the video that you need to look at over and over and over, because there's communication being had without you speaking up. Communication doesn't start as soon as you open your mouth. Communication starts as soon as you enter a door. People are predator people with predatory nature. They're reading all the things that you're putting out. They're reading the energy you put out. They're reading your boundaries. They're reading your body language. They're reading you. And they're figuring out where they can come in and take advantage of you. But if you work on your boundaries and make them tight, they shouldn't be flimsy. They shouldn't be interchangeable. You work on your energy. Remember, energy is the action of self. Everything that you stand for is your energy. Everything that you put out is your energy. So if you're a woman who says, oh, I'm not going to have sex with a man until I'm married, then you should be putting that type of energy out. Every time that you go against that energy or go against what you're saying that you stand for and you believe in, this definitely dims the light and dims the energy that you're putting out. Your energy that you're putting out already shows that you have some deceit within it, because you're not even being honest with yourself. You're not even moving accordingly. Your body language needs to be in alignment. If I'm going to sit across from you and I'm going to be firm and assertive, I shouldn't be sitting here fiddling with something else. I know we all get nervous. We do. Because when I used to get nervous and I was like, fiddle this right here, like this right here. But then I realized it's giving off the wrong type of energy and body language that I don't want to be putting out there. I want to have a certain energy, body language, and boundaries that are putting out to the world. This communication that I'm putting out to the world. I don't want to bring in predatory behavior or predatory people. And I know people look for those things. They look for the girl who's actually demonstrating that she's super nervous. They look for the girl that's already demonstrating in her body that she's not comfortable. They're looking for these things as predatory people. And so you don't want to have a bull's eye on your back. So you want to understand that the communication, the things that you're communicating, it starts as soon as you walk in the door. It doesn't start at you saying hello. So I can't be up here for so long. So it's going to be somewhat a short video because I do have an errand to run. I just want to stop in and say something, you all, and talk about this because I think as communicators, since women are great communicators, we don't understand there's another layer to communication and it's happening before we even open our mouths. So that's the reason why, and men are very good at reading that type of communication. That's the reason why it's best to communicate with them and teach them from that versus actually communicating and talking all the time. Because they're not great communicators, but they definitely understand the nonverbal communication that you're putting out. They understand that because they've had to read that. They had to read that to see if a woman liked them. How do you think a man was able to learn if he needs to cross the room to say hello to you and get your number? It's the nonverbal communication that you were putting out that gave him all of the cues that he can come over and ask you out. Maybe it was nothing but a smile. Maybe it was nothing but a glance. Maybe it was nothing but a twirl of your hair. But women put out that energy for men to get the signal, and it's called what? I think it's called choosing signals. Women put out choosing signals for a man to say, want to walk across the room to ask for a number or ask you out. So they're good at reading those signals. Women are good at communicating. And that's the reason why women are always so focused on what do I say? You're focused on what do you say when you need to be focused in on your boundaries. They need to be strict. They need to be tight. There should be no way to get in. Your energy, you need to have an understanding of who you are and what you're putting out. Your body language. Your body language needs to be in alignment with what you believe in and who you are as a woman. These things all put the signal out, and they're all nonverbal cues. They're all communicating for you before you even open your mouth. That is how people who are predatory, they look at these things. They see the girl who is, her energy is off because of the fact her energy is off because she doesn't believe in herself. She doesn't stand for anything, so she falls for everything. Her energy is off because she's programmable. Her energy is off because she doesn't have a belief system. Her energy is off because she's naive. And people can spot that from miles away. They did some research of predators actually being able to smell it on people. So you're always communicating, regardless if you haven't said a word. I don't know how to say your name. I don't want to mess your name up. But welcome, Carmelina. Girl, I love your name, but I don't know how to say it, and I hate to mess it up. But oh yeah, I finally caught a live. I appreciate your content, bro. Thank you. You're gorgeous. Thank you. Andrea, love your work, bro. Thank you. But everything that you're putting out is communicating something. That's the key. Every Carmelina. Is that right? Carmelina. Am I saying that right? Carmelina? Because I want to say it properly. Yeah, I suck at names. I do. I suck at names. That's why all my children got like nicknames. And I named them, but they all got nicknames. But yeah, everything that you're putting out is either you're waving and saying, hey, here I am, predatory people, I'm open to your predatory behavior, or everything you're putting out is repelling them. They're scared to actually go into your space because they already know that you're not going to be prey for them, that you're not going to be someone that they can take advantage of. And so don't just worry about the right things to say. You all know I don't believe in the right things to say. I believe you should be communicating before you communicate. That is the reason why all of the work and my content, I would never, no one is going to send me an offer to work on shows where women are yelling, screaming, and jumping over couches and fighting. Why? Because the things I put out go against all of that. So they know that I won't be a good guest. Any offers that I've got to come on people's shows is usually for like family values, kids, the nature of man. It's always very tame shows because it's the energy. I'm communicating before I communicate, and they can tell that. So it repels certain type of energy coming back to me also. So don't worry about trying to get the wording right. Don't worry about trying to get the correct words. Don't worry about trying to say the wrong thing. Concern yourself more about having strict boundaries. Your boundaries cannot be flimsy. They cannot be something that can be torn down, jumped over, gone under. Your boundaries need to be firm and standing. Your energy is the action of you. So, whatever you stand for, who you are as a woman, you need to make sure that's in alignment with the actions that you put out in the world. Because if you're a woman who basically what I call double speak, where you say one thing out your mouth, but your actions are another, your energy is not going to have the respect, or it's not going to repel people who want to take advantage of you, because they already know if you can't stand up for one thing, stand up for what you feel, what you say you value in, and live in, walk it out. It's easy to bring you in. It's easy to take advantage of you. Your body language needs to be in alignment. That's the reason why it's so important that women really gain their self-confidence, because when you're out here, you're your first line of defense. You are. But you have to be able to stand on your first line of defense. You have to be able to speak up for that, and everything needs to be online, because men are looking at, oh, is there a way I can change her mind? Is there a way I can have her do something else than what she says she stands for? Is there a way that I can take advantage of her? Yes, there are men who want to support you too. But since you're your first line of defense, you need to be able to handle the men who cannot, or who want to take advantage of you and repel them away. So when you're sitting here saying, hey, I'm not going to go home with you, I don't sleep with a man on the first date, your body language needs to relay that. When something is out of sync, men can tell that. They can tell. Maybe you can be persuaded. Maybe you aren't sure about not going home with them. You get all, you know, you don't stand on what you're saying you stand for, and he can tell that. So boundaries, energy, and body language. If you don't want to be a woman who attracts like predatory behavior or predatory people, and you want to experience people who aren't that, then work on those things. Of course, I'm always going to say, do your inner work. Your inner work will help magnetize and amplify these things in the first place. But I decided to bring 3 of the things that's going to help you that you can work on today. That's going to help you send out the correct signals to the people who will not take advantage of you. Very true. Without boundaries, they see you as prey every single time. Every single time. If you don't have any boundaries, babe, that's the first thing you need to work on. Don't even worry about any of the things I'm talking about. If you don't have any boundaries, sit down and write a list about all the boundaries that you need to implement. And then I want you to start working on implementing them ASAP, because all you are is food for prey and predatory people and predatory behavior. And when you have communicated a quiet boundary, always be prepared to walk away if they test it. Example, boundary standard, I don't pay on dates. I communicate that by not walking with a pocketbook and never looking at or touching the bill. If he asks or suggests, even jokingly, about going half, he would never see me again. I am seeking a provider. He saw my standard and checked to see if I was programmable, because that's what it is. If a man can see that you're programmable and that he can put in you what he desires to have in you, he will do what it takes to do that. He would do what it takes to do that. Some of them, not all of them. Like I said, all of them not here to be predators. Some of them are here to be support. So, and I agree that they're 340. So you have to be willing to stand on it and walk away. That's the reason why I'm not going to sit here and constantly tell women, ways to defend themselves by communicating, when sometimes the best defense is to walk away and be willing to walk away. That's the best defense. Remember, you're your first line of defense as a woman. You have a job to protect yourself from predatory behavior and predatory people. In order to do that, your boundaries cannot be for fun. Your boundaries have to be very strict and firm. And your energy, knowing who you are and what you stand for and what you believe in and what you value, is going to assist in what type of energy you put out. So you don't get back predatory behavior from people, because they already know you're not going to fall for it. They're like, oh, here's that girl who believes in marriage and being with a provider and being with a man, only giving a man kids after marriage. Here she go. That's all they're going to say, because they already know they can't change your mind. They can't make you think something else. They can't program you with something else. So they're going to give you they're going to probably stay away from you, especially if they want to use you or they want to prey on you, because they already see who you are. So the women who get taken advantage of very easily are the ones who don't know who they are. They don't know how powerful they are as women. They don't know what it is to step into womanhood. They don't understand themselves as a feminine being, as a spiritual being. They do not understand who they are, what they value, their belief system, what they want out of life. And the more you don't know, the more that you communicate that you're open to predatory behavior and predatory people. Because they look at you as though you can be programmed into something else. If you don't have an idea, other people will give you one. If you have no clues, other people will give you a clue. Social media shouldn't program you either. I don't care. I love my content and I know my work is spot on, and I value my content, but I also understand and want women to absolutely look through the content and make sure it's something that's going to work for them and where they're going and on their journey. You're not supposed to come in and allow things to be changed based off something you hear on social media. Only things need to be changed if it's not in alignment with your purpose and who you are as a woman. That's the only time you change something. Not because somebody said it on social media. If you're easily programmed and you change things based off what people are going with, the trends that people are on, you're easily taken advantage of. Predators love you because they already know you don't stand for anything, so you'll fall for everything. And that's the energy you're putting out. Your body language has to be in alignment in the things that you want, the action of you. Your body language has to be in action and alignment with that. The reason why your body language is so important, because people who are predatory, they read that body language. They see if you say one thing, if you're not in alignment with what you're saying. So if you're saying, hey, I don't want to go home with you. Hey, I'm not willing to pay. But then you have these nervous tics, or you're looking down. You're not looking in his eyes. You're showing all the signs and signals that you're really not sure, or you're not in alignment, and maybe he can program you to think something different or do something different. But when you come across and you look him in the eye and you hold yourself up firm, you hold your head high, and you say, no, I'm not interested in that. There's nothing to program. They realize that this person cannot be taken advantage of. So they're always looking for weak points in you. And if you don't understand what weak points you have, you can't make any type of corrections. You're saying something all the time without even opening your mouth. I tell you, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I can always size women up for the ones who will be taken advantage of. And usually what I'll say is, hey, you're not ready to date. They'll be like, what do you mean? And I'll talk about the things I'm seeing and the reason why you're not ready to date. We need to go back and work on this. Sometimes I will tell you to go back to the inner work, and I'll give you certain things that you need to work on. Or I'll give you the green light and say, yes, you're ready for dating. Because my goal here is not to send you out to the wolves. Because there's some men out here that are wolves in sheep clothing. And I want you to be able to discern and be able to point it out very quickly. Never. Okay. People don't think for themselves in today's world, and it's scary. It's super scary because I already know that they're opening themselves up for predatory behavior from predators because they look for that. They look for those people who are very uncertain and very unsure and very naive. They look for those people who jump from trend to trend. They look for those people who jump from belief to belief, to value to value. They look for people who don't have a foundation. They look for people who don't have firm boundaries. They're looking for those people to take advantage of them because they know that those people are going to be easy to take advantage of. But you're talking constantly without talking. There's silent communication happening, even if you haven't opened your mouth. People are normally reading you, and usually men do this better than women. Women have to train in order to do this well because women think that they can create it through communication. They think they can talk their way out of it. Okay, so I got like 10 more minutes. So if you have a question or something in the chat, you can go ahead and drop it now. I got less than 10 minutes and then I have to close out the live stream. Ladies, if you're up here, go ahead and take time to like the video. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. The page is growing. I appreciate you, ladies. Welcome all of my new members who joined my Pedestal Wife Society. Welcome from to all the women who follow the page. I appreciate your support so much. But you are constantly communicating whether you open your mouth or not. A lot of women believe that they're only communicating when they open up and speak up. But the thing is, what you are not saying is what people are observing and reading. How you handle yourself and how you handle others is being observed. And that is also a way for them to figure out how can I use her in a predatory way because I can see that she is not standing for the things that she says she stands for. I can see that she really doesn't know who she is as a woman or the power that she holds. I can see that she doesn't have any firm boundaries. They're kind of flimsy. I can see that her body language is not in alignment with who she is. So as soon as she says something, her body language gives her away every single time. So you're speaking constantly without speaking. That's the reason why I always tell women, don't worry about the words. Women be more concerned about how to say something properly or correct. Don't worry about that. Concern yourself more about, do I have firm boundaries? Do I know who I am as a woman and the power that I have as one? Is my body language in alignment with who I am? Concern yourself and focus in on that, and that will help you to repel predatory people. And the reason I keep saying predatory people, because as we know, as you should know, there's male predators and female predators. And you should be able to sense and see them and a mile away. That's how you should be. You should be able to notice them very quickly. They're predators, they're users, and they want to use others. But you're constantly talking without talking. First date, men are reading and observing how you handle yourself, how you interact with the environment, what you say. They're reading all of this before you even sit down and say hello. You're telling him a lot just by when you walk in the door. You're telling him if you're nervous. You're telling him if you're uncertain or if you're unsure. You're telling them if you've never been in this type of establishment before. You're telling him all of that before you even sit down at the table. But women are not really focusing on that. You're focusing on what to say. What to say doesn't matter if you don't have boundaries, if you don't understand your energy and the energy that you put out, if your body language is not in alignment with who you are. It doesn't matter what you say. Because even you can say, oh, I'm strong, I'm independent, I got everything together, I am the it girl. You can say all these things. That's great for affirmation. But is it in alignment with truly who you are? If it isn't, predatory people will be able to sense that very quickly. They'll be able to see it very quickly. They'll be able to hear it very quickly. So your silent signals where you're communicating constantly with the world, become aware of them. Study yourself with compassion and love. Study the things that you're putting out so you have an understanding of what you're bringing in. And we are living in a wild time where people do not think and they don't have critical thinking skills. And that's wild to me, but it is what it is. When you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. We're in a time now that social media has so much influence over people's minds that they'll miss red flags in the people that they are influenced by. That's why I always tell you put the magnifying glass up on my content because I absolutely want you to be aware of what I'm offering to you and what I'm teaching you. I don't want blind followers. I want pedestal wives that are self confident, have self esteem, have values and beliefs and boundaries, and understand the power of their womanhood. I don't want followers. I want pedestal wives. So I want you to put the content and the things I say under a magnifying glass, as you should. I don't want crash test dummies. I have no desire for that. Strong, beautiful, assertive, feminine women. That is what we desire. We want pedestal wives. So I don't see any other questions, and I have to get ready and run an errand. I just wanted you to be aware that you're always communicating whether you say a word or not. Be very aware and wary of putting out anything that's going to bring more predatory behavior or predatory people to you. Everything that you put out is whatever you're being brought in is amplified. So I have a one-on-one today with a member, and then I also have an errand to run. So I'm going to go ahead and let you all go. I appreciate you all for supporting the page, and I will see you all on the next one. You all have a wonderful, happy Friday.